Please explain why you believe talk therapy alone is not enough to help people heal from traumatic experiences.
Yeah. I'm a talk therapist by training, so of course I believe in talk therapy. However, when people experience traumatic events, trauma is not stored in the language part of the brain. Trauma is stored in the limbic system, that emotional part of the brain. The language part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, where language is stored, our intellect is housed, our reasoning and judgment. At the time of trauma, that part goes offline. Think about it. You're being chased by a dog. Let's just give a simple example. All the energy is going to flood to your extremities because you need that energy to run, to flee, or to fight, right? If you can't run and if you can't fight, something called the fight, flight, freeze, and now fawn syndrome, you freeze. And the energy is trapped in your body. No amount of talk therapy is going to help you to release that. That's one reason, because trauma is not stored in the language part of the brain. It's stored in the body. So healing trauma takes a bodily process, the drumming, the different stuff I talked about. Also, talk is taboo. You know, you don't talk about, for my case, I experienced developmental trauma in my own household, in my family. You don't talk about, you don't, air your dirty laundry out in the street. You don't sit, how many people gonna go and sit in front of a therapist and say, oh yeah, this happened? Most people are not gonna do that. And that's really not likely to happen. And sometimes talk therapy can be re-traumatizing. To ask a person to revisit and to keep talking about it, it almost puts you viscerally in that same place where you were. So we have to start thinking about healing trauma from the bottom up. That means start with the body and then you work your way up to the top. But in our Western model, we've been trained to work from the top down. You start with the words and you talk, and then you eventually come down, and then the words will often release you. That doesn't work like that with trauma. Trauma is trapped, it's stuck, it's trying to get out. And the experience of trauma and stress, it remains with you. And every time you experience a subsequent trauma, it builds. These are hormones that are in our bodies. They're stuck and they're trapped. When you don't release them, where are they going? They stay there. And when you see people walk around tight all the time, they're angry, they're frustrated, they have road rage, it's like all this stuff inside of them is trapped in that they just need permission to be allowed to release it. In a therapy session, allow your clients, I don't even sit, you know what, this doesn't exist. I don't have an office where clients come and sit down. Druid Hill Park is one of my offices. We do walk and talk, right? I'm working with a client who's traumatized. He's raging. I'm in his house. We're bouncing a ball back and forth. It's not just this frozen state, because it's kind of like, I'm expecting you to talk about what happened to you. No, it doesn't start there. And when you start to release and heal that pain, when you start to release those powerful, potentially dangerous emotions that are trapped in your body, now maybe you can start to talk about trauma. And trauma doesn't necessarily need talk to be healed, believe that or not. Yeah.
All right, I want to say, what is an example of releasing trauma from your body?
Woo! Where's my girl? Sophia. No, I'm drumming. Okay, I can tell you anything physically, well, I'll talk about this. Drumming, let's start with that. Anything that gets you moving, your body moving, singing, resonating, you're breaking up blockages. Yoga, dance, writing about trauma. You don't have to necessarily speak it, you can write about it. I write poetry, I do something called Drumetry. I write poems and set them to African drum rhythms. That releases it. When you write about a trauma and put a different ending on it, write a story, that's another way to heal trauma. Being in nature, oh my goodness. That vitamin D, this oxygen we're breathing in, anything that breaks it up. But when you're frozen, you're in a therapist's office, you're pretty much like this. Frozen, you're stuck. But you can release it walking, taking walks. It costs nothing. Jogging, running, anything that you can think about that shakes up that energy, that brings it out of your body and out here. It has to come out of you.
Well, let me hear you say, Mount